Shout at me if Blythe comes up,
Oh,
okay, and I'll get on.
no doubt.
I know my place. But for the time being, Hampton and Sunderland South, I said that we would check what the exit poll was saying and whether these numbers as they come in are in line with it. So that gives you a sense of, is that big number we've just been talking about likely to be the eventual result? Is it going to be close? Well, this is interesting. Exit poll here, okay, 46%. Labour, result 47%. So I would say as polling goes, that is pretty close. That's pretty close. Okay, Reform, the exit poll said 34. In the end, 29.1%, so close, but a little bit weaker. Interestingly, the Conservatives, the exit poll said we're going to get 6% and actually ended up with 13.8%. So the Conservatives doing a bit better in Hampton and Sunderland South than the exit poll suggested. But the big picture, exit poll, 46%, result is like that. So the results, the exit poll does look like it is kind of in line with where we are in terms of that very first result. But we're going to do this and we're going to give you a sense of whether that number is borne out by the actual results, which is kind of what we want to know about, isn't it? But so far...
Stay on that graphic because Ruth's not happy.
Well, first of all, I want to call you Mr. Swanky because you've got all the swanky kit that's there. You've got the swanky graphics, you have the swanky helicopter. It's absolutely amazing.
It's a
but
job.
what's really interesting about this is that it's understating, the exit poll seems to be understating the Conservative vote and overstating the Reform vote in here. Now, whether that's played out across the country.
Not much, but yeah, the Tories, yeah, 6% versus...
Now, in Scotland, we have something called shy Tory syndrome, whereas in our darkest days, a lot of people that voted for us wouldn't say that they voted for us.
Well, that thought Blythe is declaring. Blythe is declaring.
I'd like to invite the returning officer, the High Sheriff of Northumberland, and candidates onto the stage for the declaration.
Okay, just moving on to the stage, as you can see, as I was explaining to you, Ian Lavery would hope to be the MP for this constituency. He was the former Labour Party chair under Jeremy Corbyn, and for a while, as I said, under Keir Starmer, Sir Keir Starmer as well, who we are yet to hear from, but I'm sure we will very shortly indeed. Oh, nice hat.
I, Ruth of Richmond, returning officer for the Blythe and Ashington parliamentary constituency, hereby give notice that the total number of votes given to each candidate was as follows. Ian Lavery, Labour Party, 20,030. Maureen Levy, the Conservative Party candidate, 6,121.
Let's keep an eye on the Reform.
Steve Leyland, the Green Party, 1,960. Mark Peart, Reform UK, 10,857.
Like it's an easy win for Labour. Just
Stephen Anthony Salidas, Liberal Democrats, 1,433.
Easy win there for you.
Yeah, I'm really pleased for Ian. Ian really
49% for Labour is the exit poll projection.
Yeah, it's a very strong result that for him. And I'm sure, you know, he will actually be delighted, and actually that bodes well for us in the northeast. So really, yeah, really pleased to see that. Obviously, Reform coming second again. Yeah. But then we just had what Ruth was saying before, that the exit poll may be overstating Reform and understating the Tories. So we need to see that result now, don't we, in relation to the exit poll?
But what's interesting here is this is very...
Okay, let's see. I've got to get my eyes fixed. That doesn't help. Well, Benjamin says that he doesn't like England very much. Well, it's interesting. England looks like they're switching back to the Liberal side, to Labour. I guess everything cycles. Everything, what goes around comes around. Hey, Zizu. Hey, Ben Palmer. Hey, KYP. Happy 4th of July, KYP. And everybody. And happy 4th of July. It's raining here, so I don't know if the fireworks are going to be all that great, but sometimes fireworks against the clouds makes it even more powerful in a localized area. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Grand Rising. The one, Frank Ann yeah, happy 4th of July. Hey, Frank. Hey, David. That's a good point, Donna. And tomorrow's likely to be light volume. Well, fewer participants, so be interesting to see. For those of you who are so minded, it might be a chance to pick up shares at a cheap price. You know, all these videos are my opinion, and they're editorial and they're educational. They're not financial advice. But yeah, it'd be fun. I think it'll be fun to see what happens tomorrow. I agree with you. It's hot. Hey, Gallatin, thank you for your sentiment. Each of you have to keep fighting the good fight too, as you do. I was thinking about it, Gallatin, and I'm not picking on you for any reason at all regarding this. But I was thinking last night when I couldn't sleep that, oh, what happened to Gallatin? That we need to pray. We need to pray for help, because this is a giant thing going on. And I really don't think the powers that be, so to speak, they don't care. I mean, they care to make money, but they don't care. They don't care to enforce the rules. And they go along with the hiding. But just like the debate the other night, the truth shall set you free. Anyway, maybe we just have to pray for help. That's the one thought I had. It's kind of when you get to suggesting prayer, you're finally saying, Lord, I can't do it alone. Why me, Lord? What have I ever done to deserve even one of the pleasures I've known? Tell me, Lord. You can show me a way. I'd like to repay all the kindness you've shown. I can't get it right. Lord, help me, Jesus. I've wasted it, so help me, Jesus. My soul's in your hand. Anyway, that was my reaction, Gallatin, last night. Maybe I should tell you guys to pray, even though that's not what I normally do about something like this. Anyway, happy 4th, Tim. Yeah, I'd like to buy myself 248th birthday. So in 2 years, it'll be 250 years. Is that halfway to Rome? How long did Rome stick around? Lucky is asleep right now. And we don't walk very far anymore. He doesn't get very far. But he gets happy. He's happy to meet dogs. But gosh, he's funny. I'll open the door to go out and he'll walk into the corner and he'll stand in the corner instead of going out the door. His Biden moments. Yeah, peace. I agree. Isn't that what his son said? Peace I bring you. I have a feeling that's the biggest part of why he came. I told that to my sister once. I think he came to tell us it's going to be okay. Peace. Jet lag. I've had jet lag in my life. It's a hell of an excuse. Gets you out of a lot of things. But what I know about jet lag is, from my standpoint, is when you have jet lag, I couldn't stand and talk. I'd have to go sleep. So I don't think it's much of an excuse. Yeah, I was going to have water, but instead I made a cup of coffee because it boils. It boils. Isn't that something? Do we live in a third world nation? Hey, Jack Hamilton. All right, so let's see. It's quarter of. We have about 15 minutes or so till Ham comes on, and then you'll learn more. Okay, very slow. You'll learn more in 40 minutes than you learn in college. Let's just see if there's anything news about the Bidens. Sharp and focused, but sometimes confused. That's what they're saying about Biden now. Let me just check. Djokovic won today, but the guy he played was, wow, he was good. He was really good. He reminded me of Djokovic. Wow, according to the Daily Mail, is it fine? This is brand new, hot off the press. Is it finally over? Andrew Neil speaks to multiple senior Democrats who reveal party's verdict. Everyone wants Biden to quit. This is how they will force him out. Time to go, Joe. The Dump Biden movement has gained momentum inside the Democratic Party. We cannot yet say for sure that it will succeed. Team Biden is digging in deep. Down deep, lawyers are really good. 6 feet under. But the ground is slipping from under the president's feet. It could soon be an unstoppable landslide. By this time next week, the Democrats could be looking for a new presidential candidate, or still ripping themselves apart whether they should be. I spoke to two senior Democrats today, one an experienced election strategist, the other on Joe Biden's staff when he was vice president. Both were unequivocal. Biden should withdraw and make way for someone else. A third Democratic operative was even more blunt. Everyone wants him to quit. It is the new mood of music. Sorry. It is the new mood music of a troubled party, even if only a handful, like Lloyd Doggett, Raul Grijalva, are prepared to say so publicly. Of course, these are barely household names, even in their own household. But behind them is a wall of names poised to follow suit. The moment more do, the dam will burst, and Biden's position will be untenable. Even some senior Democrats Biden met behind closed doors to shore up his position, told him they thought he'd lose to Donald Trump. Well, of course, one should not believe he lost last time because, as you know, it was the most honest, transparent election in the history of the world. How does the UK do it? They do paper ballots. They get it all announced by the evening. How do they do it? They do it on one day, too. Whatever they're saying publicly, I have yet to speak to a senior Democratic activist who will argue in private that their party can hold the White House with Biden at the top of the ticket. Indeed, the growing concern now is not the loss of the presidency. That's becoming almost a given. It is the damage Biden will do to the rest of the ticket. Last weekend, I thought, after initially being forced on the back foot, that Team Biden's fight back was in the ascendancy. The president was reeling from the fallout of his car crash debate with Donald Trump in Atlanta last Thursday. Voices, especially in the previously loyal left-wing commentariat, were starting to say aloud what they had been saying only in confidence. There was no way Biden is fit enough to fight for re-election and serve another 4-year term. The White House and the Biden campaign were taken aback, but came out fighting with a counteroffensive, which dampened the rebellion by pressuring others not to go public. I began to think dissident Democrats and their media cheerleaders, never the most robust of people, would retreat with their tails between their legs, but they don't. Instead, they doubled down, that's a word, running news stories further questioning Biden's fitness to run for re-election, and more opinion pieces calling on him to make way for someone else. This caught the White House spin machine by surprise. The latest New York Times survey gives Donald Trump a 9-point lead among registered voters. But what about the migrants or whatever, the people that have been invited into the country by plane load by 19 million last count? 80% of Americans thought Biden unfit to run again. 80%. I guess he still has 20% on his side. The Save Biden campaign is doing the Democrats incalculable harm. The White House propaganda machine has become synonymous with lying. First, we were told he was below par in the debate because he had a cold. I'm sorry, I have a cold. Something none of his aides had mentioned in advance. When that failed to pass the smell test, a new line was unveiled. He was jet lagged from a hectic schedule of international travel. That was just as incredible as his cold. Biden had stopped his jet setting a full 10 days before the debate. He'd rested at his house, and besides, that jet has a bedroom in it. He had rested at his house on the beach in Rehoboth, Delaware, then spent almost a week holed up at Camp David, Maryland, with his aides, prepping for the debate. Both are in the same East Coast time zone. The highly improbable event that jet lag Joe was still suffering from in the highly event, suffering from what we might call long jet lag on debate night. That, of course, merely underlies how unfit he is to run again. International travel is a big part of the job of a US president. You can't take almost 2 weeks to recover from it. Lying is so much the default position of the Biden White House these days that they resort to it without even thinking about the mess it might get them into. The Democrats want to campaign against Trump on the basis that he's a threat to democracy. I'm just reading this. I'm not going to make a comment. After his behavior on January 6, 2021, it's a credible claim. I'm not going to say anything. But for the White House and the Biden campaign to lie to the American people relentlessly by denying the manifest unfitness of the president to run again, never mind his chances of surviving another 4 years in the Oval Office, is just as big a threat to democracy. They are trying to impose on the country a man who should be allowed to spend his few remaining years in well-deserved retirement. They expect the voters to believe that Biden spinners rather than the evidence voters see on a daily basis. Who will the American people believe, the Biden propaganda or their own eyes? Guess we'll have Kamala. I thought it was going to be Hillary Clinton, but I guess it'll be Kamala. All right, let's get off such a depressing topic. Hey, Jack. Hey, doubling down, yeah. Hey, Gary. What a great looking dog. I hope all's well with you. I have to put in I have a air conditioner, but it's in Virginia. Yeah, I have to put in a window air. That's a good reminder. I'll get it done. Biden is sharp as a bowling ball. He's sharp as a drill and twice as boring. Biden was on a Philly radio station and he said he was a black president. It's on Twitter, I guess. Well, you know, he's come to it late in life. He destroyed, I would argue, generations, not one or two, but multiple generations of lives of primarily darker skinned people than he is or his son is by his 3 strikes you're out bill. And that's a hell of a legacy. It really is. And he was friends, as you know, with, anyway, I don't want to go through it all. It's just depressing. Okay, the one. Happy 4th of July. Yeah, they do. They still owe it. Heath, I haven't gotten mine yet, so I assume you haven't gotten yours. I think what's happening there is, Aubrey Advisors sponsored the SPAC, and they botched it. I think it was intentional, but you could argue they just weren't very good at it and they screwed up. But they've sponsored 100 SPACs, so I don't know why they'd be bad at this one. But the stock traded as high as $38. And what Aubrey didn't do, you just ask yourself the question, if they're so good at it, why didn't they alert NASDAQ that, in fact, they were in the middle of a reverse merger, or a de-SPAC is what it was called, a de-SPAC. And, for 36 hours, there weren't going to be enough shares to meet the standards, but by Friday there would be. But somebody, I think on the criminal side, called in to NASDAQ, said, hey, there's not enough shares. So NASDAQ halted trading. So at $38, it opened in the low teens, and it immediately went down to $2 a share. Well, in that time frame, Aubrey's clients, at least, somebody, you couldn't sell, I couldn't sell, somebody sold. And it looks like they sold 60 to 100 million shares that didn't exist. Oh, there's systems in place and they cover it, and you don't know, you can't say that. Well, I didn't see any buying or covering. So the de-SPAC was a complete disaster. The CEO didn't cause that. He did not cause that. He has a very good relationship, though, with Aubrey Advisors. He thinks very highly of them. He thinks they're honorable and they're as good as their word. And he knows them. I don't. And two of Aubrey Advisors' principals or executives are on the board of Collective Audience. Now, I, at great distress to myself in the sense that it was really uncomfortable, I advocated that either Aubrey, Chadron Advisors, Polar, and the one other hedge fund, and or the lawyers were the ones that did this. It was a setup, and they're just going to get you to drive this stock price down. They want to destroy your per share value of anything you do. They're going to make you raise money down below $1, below 50 cents. I said that when the stock was trading much higher. Oh, you're just being negative. Everybody's on the same page. We got to work together. I said, yeah, I'm trying. Anyway, what I gathered out of that, Heath, these are just my opinions. I think Peter Boards is a man of integrity. I think he's extremely smart and hardworking. I think he has a loyal cadre of supporters in the financial world. I think he's very good at bringing companies into Collective Audience. His blind spot is he trusts Aubrey Advisors, and I guess he hasn't had enough pain yet, or he just doesn't recognize what they're doing. I don't buy that Aubrey Advisors is innocent. They know what they're doing. And who's their client? The $8 billion or whatever it is, Polar Investment Advisors, or a small company? Who's Aubrey's real client? I think Aubrey needs to feed that maw so they can live like kings, and they deserve to. They went to the right schools. They worked at Goldman, and they're smarter than you are. They don't dig ditches. They don't drive trucks. They don't wait on tables. They don't They don't, they're not first responders. They don't work in hospitals. Hey, they're exalted. Anyway, I think that's his blind spot. However, I think he is fair-minded. I think he listens to all sides. And I don't think he's anybody's fool. So I think what's going on, Heath, is he is bringing in these companies. He is doing it at the market a little bit, but he's not diluting the shares as aggressively as he could. And one way he can protect the stock on the downside is to not issue our 67%, because every one of us would sell, depressing the price. So I really think he's doing his best with his blind spot. On the other aspects of what he's doing his best. So yes, the answer is we're owed that. Ham just called me. Let me call him.
Hey, William.
Yeah, I missed your call, but I'm live.
Battery not
Connected to Bill's iPhone.
Let me try to get you on the. I can't hear you. All right, now I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can
now.
you hear me now?
Yeah, you're live now.
Okay, just let everybody know I got the boot off of Twitter, and I have a new Twitter handle, and I'm really not sure what the hell it is. I think I told it to William, and and I'll try to get it out there again. But I don't even know who I insulted to get them pissed off at me. But I think I was actually blasting Hindenburg for ripping off the company in India. And in India, they said that if you commit financial fraud, they're going to hang you. And I said, well, they should be on trial in India. And if it's guilty, well, we know what should happen then, right? That's pretty easy. All right. That's,
Of course, we're talking metaphorically here. We're not.
Now, this India saying that, not me.
Yeah,
India,
yeah, all
India.
right. All right.
India said that, and it's right there, black and white. I didn't say it; they did. But you know, if you want to rob companies, and they caused $15 billion in damage to a public company in India, one of the biggest companies in India. 15 billion, and Kingdom Capital made $4 million trading in advance of the story. They knew all about it. That's what they do it for. It's not like they made $15 billion. Kingdom Capital probably gave them the story. They wrote it and they put it out, used their network and the Wall Street Journal to promote it. And the stock went down and it lost $15 billion in value. And the company has since come back because obviously they're playing against real people there, and they picked the wrong people to play with. And since the guy is the wealthiest guy in India, I think they have enough capital to go after them and drag them into court, which is always interesting, and it's good to see. Let me just change channels. I'll try to get to you that it's I think it's Ham 59591 short, something like that. And it's Gary Gensler is the beginning of it, if you can find it. I posted some of our old photos up there already, so you can recognize it. And so it's, if you want to follow me, you follow me. Again, I you're welcome. I'm not here. I'm here to educate you about different things. But I'll try to get that out there. Maybe William can show it to you later. But let's start off with Lynn Partners again. Wednesday, July 3rd at 5 o'clock, Lynn Partners gave Golden Matrix a $10 million investment from Lynn Partners. And guess what? Philip is very pleased to invest in the company. Manager Director of Lynn Partners. We're delighted to announce our investment. And if you just go through the details, once again, obviously there's the devil in the details. And
what's the name of the company?
Golden Matrix. And it's GMGI. GMGI. And I haven't had
It never stops. It just never stops.
And They use a new trick. This is their trick. The company gave a $12 million note, of which 20% of the $10 million is a fee at a 20% discount. So that's number one. So they already swiped, $2 million out of the 10 that the company has to pay. But they have a way for a conversion. The note has a 24-month maturity and a conversion price of $4 per share, equal to 130% premium of where the closing price is.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're enticing you to come in saying, come on in, it's all safe. We can only convert above this price.
Hold the
So
line.
that is a trick that they've always done before. And just let me go to Yahoo for a second.
That's not market manipulation.
No, it's completely GMGI. I'm sorry, I forgot the symbol. GMGI. No, I don't know this company from anything. I know nothing about it. Hold on 1 second. I typed it in wrong. I'm sorry. I was at a barbecue. I didn't do my homework in time. GMGI. And if we go to the chart, and I can guarantee you that when this company spoke to Lynn Partners, okay, if we can look at the historical data, this stock was on, let's say, June 11th was 330. On June 4th, which wasn't too long ago, right? May 31st, let's go to that date. The stock was $6. And since that point, the stock is now $2.30. Now, I don't know about you, but if we find out the day that they were introduced to this company, I can guarantee you when they found out they needed money, that's when the game's begun. Okay? And they sell it straight down. And the company's getting money at the low, right? They'll convert it at the low and they lock in their profit. It's a pretty easy game. And the only reason it will exist is because naked short selling, they can carry a short position without borrowing the shares. I'm sure if you look under GMGI, you won't see a big borrowed short because they do not borrow it. They just naked short it from overseas. And that's another company that's going to be tortured. I posted about KNW for those before I got kicked off. King Nancy William. That stock was 90 cents when they did the deal with Lid Partners, and it closed Friday at 38. And I told everyone to stay away. I said the CEO's an idiot. I said everything I could possibly say. And for those who think that I'm playing games, I'm trying to teach you and educate you about what these criminals do. They're not here to help companies. They're here to destroy it and make a spread. Sell it at 90 cents, buy it back at 25 cents. If you did that all day, 5 million shares every day and make 67 cents, it's $3 million here, 5 million here. They just keep going along. And the destruction, the dilution of a public company gets wiped out. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. All right. All these weirdos keep yelling about different things. Listen, this isn't the Roaring Kitty hotline where I just say chill. I've been trying to teach everybody for a long time what to look for and protect yourself against these criminals. All right. If you choose not to do this, you don't want to do it, good luck. Please don't listen. I don't want to waste your time. William is a professional. I am a professional. This is a I thought it was Sunday. It's only Thursday. We have a full day tomorrow, and I try to get prepared always for the day in advance. I believe in doing your homework, and this way you don't come in and just try to guess. And William, I want everyone who's on your call, again, I don't know how many people are here, but I want everyone to understand this next lesson is very important. On Wednesday, KOSS took off. And two to 3 days before this, on William's call, I told everyone, if you want to buy something that's safe on the short squeeze game, it's KOSS. If GameStop is going to go, so is KOSS. And I told it to a bunch of my friends, and I don't know who did what. I don't call back and ask. But KOSS was squeezed on Wednesday from $4.50 to $18. Okay, out of the blue. I don't even know anybody even posted about K&W. That's how crazy that, on the KOSS, I don't even seen anyone speak about KOSS. The people that are doing KOSS are the same people that have been involved in GameStop and AMC. Because there's no way that you can connect the dots between AMC, KOSS, and GME. It's impossible. Those are three stocks that were low price stocks. KOSS was, $2. GameStop was $3 3/4, and AMC was $1.75. The same thing happened in 2020. Those three stocks took off. KOSS went to 125. You know what the other ones did. And then KOSS died for a couple of years. It died. Nothing happened for a couple of years. And then out of the blue, the stock started to get active again. And, the stock traded on, June 6th, it traded up to $5, I guess, on that, the GameStop movement again. But for the most part, the stock was between $3 and $2 on April 10th, it was $2. I'm just scrolling backwards now. It was February, $2. I'm going back. I'm going back to December 2023, $3, $2, $3, $2, down to a low of $2.12. So this thing has been dead since the squeeze when it happened in 2020. And all of a sudden, it decided to light up on a Friday and squeezed up to $18. Okay, for everybody here now, the question is, you want to make some fast money? Are you buying KOSS at anywhere between $10 and $18? Does anyone have the nerve to go venture out and do that? There's not a chance that I would care. If you gave me the money, I wouldn't buy it. That's how dangerous it is. I don't know if it's going to the moon, or I don't know if it's going to crash back down to $4. I have no idea. The hedge funds that started the manipulation on Friday, I can guarantee you between $4 and $7, whatever they purchased, they sold it between $12 and $17 or $18. And I can guarantee those guys are probably long gone. They made a couple of $1 million and moved on. That's what I believe happened. So what that tells me is that the hedge funds are looking around for cheap stocks to squeeze. And I don't believe GameStop and AMC are those names because the companies have diluted themselves pretty heavily and the shorts have covered on those dilution rounds. The company's got money. The company has to build a business. We all know that. Okay. But that doesn't guarantee that they're going to build a business that's going to win. It's a long haul to what they're doing now. I personally think they should just go buy Apple stock and not do anything instead of hiring people. That's what they should do. Become Warren Buffett. No one ever makes fun of Warren Buffett. Why should take the money and do that? Don't hire anybody and just do that. DJT is another stock, but I don't know who's shorting that stock. They're definitely insane. But I do think that Donald Trump is going to become the next president of the United States. Devin Nunes is well aware of naked short selling. And I think that stock is going to get pretty hot sooner or later here before the election. I can't tell what day it is. I wish I knew I could tell you. But again, that's a $30-something stock. Very difficult to trade, very difficult to hold on to. Option-wise, stock-wise, it's a $30-something stock. And that's what I see in those four names. I don't think there's anybody who would have the balls to go out and buy KOS on Friday. I think it's going back to 125. No one even knows what the hell. I know they make earphones or something like that, or headsets or something for your iPad. Who knows? iPads, whatever the hell they do. I don't really know. But I don't think anyone's rushing in to buy that. That stock does not have the same hype as the GameStop or AMC. It's very different. It's a very different stock. GameStop, AMC have a fanatical people behind it. I don't think this company does. So if you're thinking about jumping on that stock, I think it's very dangerous, and I'd be very careful if you wanted to do that. You can do it, knock yourself out, but I'm not here in the business of gambling. All right. If you want to gamble, go knock yourself out. You got DJT. You can go buy the GameStop thing. You can go file Roaring Kitty and Chewy. You can play any of these things. Those are all tradable names. The word tradable. I don't know. I can't tell you if they're going up, down, and sideways. I actually can pick when they're turning up. I'm not a short seller, so I don't really look for that side. And I think that, a couple of these names are turning up. I know nothing about GameStop. I know the company has diluted itself very heavily, took the money, and the shorts were covering those things because no one has ever filed, William. Have you ever seen anyone file, William?
No.
I'm not one name, 120 million shares of stock. Not one fund has stepped up and said, I bought. Not one. So that tells me that no one bought it and that the shorts covered. That's what it tells me. Again, that doesn't mean it's not going to go up. But again, if you want to play it, you buy the dip, sell the rip, take your profit, go buy some cheap calls to 35s for 2 months from now. And every time you buy 1,000 shares and you make 50 cents, you buy $500 worth of cheap calls and buy 2 months out and don't look at it. That's the only way I would play that. And if you could trade the stock and, do 3-4 times, you buy $2,000 worth of calls and you don't have to look at it anymore and you're involved. And if you think it's going to go, congratulations, you're involved. That's the way you play these things. Same thing with DJT. Same thing with that. The only way to play these things is buy the dip. When they rally up, you sell it and then go buy some cheap options. DJT's 31. I just looked now. 31. You could buy the 45s. Buy something way out of the money because if it's going to work, it's going to work. All right. It was just $40-something a few days ago, right? They killed it back down again. What was the high? The high was $40. It was $40.54 5 days ago. Think about that. The stock is like a yo-yo, up and down, 25% of the value of the company. Up, down, up, down. Devin Nunes is 100% in Donald Trump's ear, and they're figuring out, I guess, what the best way to handle this is. And I'm sure Donald Trump wants some of that GameStop money from the short sellers. All right, so Devin Nunes, if you Google it, you can see it right there. There's all kinds of stories, William, about Credit Suisse, being fined for naked shorting in South Korea. Obviously, we all know that they're hiding something there. They buried everything for 50 years. Everyone on this phone will be dead by the time we figure out what Credit Suisse did. How's that? That's how bad they're hiding that stuff. That's how bad they're hiding it. All right, so the crime is everywhere. South Korea is pushing forward. India is pushing forward. Every country is saying Thailand is fighting. Everyone's fighting back. China stopping the fraud. And the U.S. is silent. I don't know what to say to everyone. I can't stop it. I can't believe they still allow it. That's what tells me it's coming to an end because it's too obvious. Everybody knows about it. And you get the most powerful man, the next president of the United States. His company is being attacked by naked shorts. So if you don't think that he's going to make it happen, then I would tell you to sell everything you own, short everything, and go away because then the whole world is going to collapse because it has to end. It just can't continue to go on. That's how I feel. I'm giving you the opposite of Roaring Kitty. I still can't figure out how Roaring Kitty was living in his basement, made all this money, and now owns 9 million shares of GameStop, and I don't know how many shares of Chewy, and whatever else he's doing. So obviously something more is going on, which none of us seem to know. Do you have any questions, William? Am I having an open
I have one. I'll look at what people are asking, but what did you see when you saw that KOSS was going to go up? In your opinion,
I saw. This is exactly what I saw. 3 stocks. It's the band of 3 always trade together. GameStop, AMC, and KOSS.
Oh.
I don't know why KOSS is part of this gang. I don't understand it. But I studied it every day, and every time those popped up, you could buy KOSS to 4.25, it runs to 5.25, and you're making a trade out of it.
Right.
And by accident, if you got involved, the thing just took off and went up $15. They decided to take that. It's the same three stocks, but I don't believe they're playing in AMC anymore. I don't believe the hedge funds are playing in GameStop anymore. I think if you keep reading about GameStop, most of the stuff people are saying, they're all novice. They have no idea how the hedge fund community works.
Right.
I think that people don't understand the mindset of the hedge funds. The mindset of the hedge fund is, hey, we already raped and made money in this name. Let's go someplace else. That's how they think. Am I sure about that? 1,000%. How do I know it? Because I worked with them. Each day was a different name. Don't get me wrong, GameStop may come back and play 5 months from now, but the GameStop hedge funds all know the shorts bought the offering. The company released the pressure, took the pressure off the shorts and had them cover, whether the SEC forced them to do it, but they covered. That's what they did. And all the hedge funds know that. The stock has a completely different pattern in it. There's no more of that panic trying to buy it. Remember before you used to jump $1.50, $2 at a clip. I don't see that anymore. The stock is trading like a normal stock right now. And I think people are buying the stock, are selling the premium in the calls now. And the premium is disappearing in the options because no one's buying them.
You know why it went up?
No.
Stubb has the boss sold 3,000 shares for less than $2. He held it for 9 months and then he sold it for less than $2.
Who's that? What?
It's just one of the viewers had 3,000 shares of KOSS, held it for 9 months, sold it for a slight loss under $2.
I'm so sorry.
That's why it went up. I'm not.
It happens.
That's
it
what
happens,
always happens, you know.
It happens to all of us. And that's why I try to tell you, if you get in a position that's upside down and you're not happy with it, it's hard. I got it. You start selling. What you do is trade something else. If you have the capital, let's say you trade GameStop and you make $500 and you own KOSS. Well, you sell whatever amount it is, maybe 50 shares, and say, okay, I sold 50 shares and I lost $500. So the trade I just made here washes out that loss. You follow me?
Not really. Say it again or explain it again.
Let's say he paid $3 for it, KOSS. And the stock, he's thinking about selling it at $2. He's going to lose.
Right.
He has 1,000 shares. He's going to lose $2,000, right?
Right.
So instead of just selling it, you sell 100 shares. You're going to lose $200 or whatever the number is, $100.
Right.
I would only sell it after I make a profit of $100 something else. And this way, you take the loss off of the gain. And
But you wait till you make the profit somewhere else.
Right. And this way you are giving your stock that you want to get out a chance to rally. You give it a little more time. And when you do start to unwind it, you can say to yourself, hey, I sold 100 shares. I made $500. I basically broke even on this trade. It's a wash. And you don't, this way, when you say things like you just said on the call, I sold it, then it went up and I didn't make money, you could say, hey, you know what? I did sell it. I didn't make money, but I broke even. I did not lose.
Right.
And it helps with your mindset as a trader. It's not going to make you money, but you learn how to get out of positions that are bad.
It's not a bad idea.
But, when we were losing $10,000, $20,000, we would try to nickel and dime our way back into it. Okay. And basically we would sit there and say, okay, I made 2,000 on Monday. I made 8,000 on Tuesday, and I'd be selling out my losing position. And at the end of the week, you say, hey, you know what? At the end of the week, I started down 20. At the end of the week, I got rid of 80% of my position. And you know what? I'm only down, $2,000 now. And yet I still have some of my losing position. I'm still carrying it, but I've been getting out of it as I made profit doing other things. I didn't look at it. I don't go back and trade a position that is, got me upside down. And I
Right.
don't try to make more money from that position. Go find something else to do.
Right.
And this way you could start, getting better and move along onto other names.
Right.
Again, I'm not trading up the names. Okay. I'm just trying to give you ideas on how to trade. And listen, it's a head game. The whole thing is a head game. You know what? You gave up on KOSS because it didn't move in 9 months. I got it. It happens. Finger motion hasn't moved in months for me, but I'm not giving up. Why? Because I know the whole story. I know nothing about KOSS except that it squeezed to 125 and it's been dead since. And it just went the other day. And the only reason I'm even looking at it is because it's tied to these other two stupid names. That's the only reason I looked at it. And the only reason I recommended it to people that I know is because it's a low risk trade. It has upside with no downside. Buying GameStop at $27, $28 has downside. This thing, buying it at $4.50, what's the downside?
Right.
$1. It's very different. I don't want to lose $5. I'm losing one. I'd rather lose one than five. And that's how you have to look at trading. But you have to try to figure out other stocks to follow that you can, learn to trade other names. Even if you make $100, $50, make something. Lose 200, make 100 back, and say, hey, instead of losing 200, I lost 100. It's a head game. You have to feel good about this game. If you can get back to even after 5 days and say, oh my God, I had a terrible week, but guess what? I'm even. I know some of my friends were down 100,000 in the beginning of the week, and they broke their ass trading 50 different names. At the end of the week, they say, you know what? I'm up $500, and they would kiss the ground. And they worked all week to be up 500, but they lost 100 and made back 105. And that's how a trader thinks. That's how you have to have that mentality. Listen, not everybody wins every day. If everybody wins every day, they're lying to you.
This guy's
So
saying, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, what's he saying?
He's saying KOSS is meant to be part of Teddy or Jamerica. I don't know. I've never heard of either thing, but maybe you
Listen,
have.
I have no idea what that is. I have
Uh-huh.
no idea what that means. I have no idea. I hope it makes it or kills it for everybody. All right. I have no idea what that means, but good luck. I just looked at it as a stock that I was studying that had the real downside was very limited. Every stock has downside. So let's get that off the table. So, remember that when you buy a stock, there's always risk in anything you do, whether it's Microsoft, Apple, you name it. Apple was recently going down. It turned around. Nvidia's all over the place now. I mean, so these stocks have wild swings in it. Look what they did to Tesla. It was down to 138. Now it's 240. Elon Musk, I sent you the thing, William. Elon Musk is saying that when his company's full throttle, he's gonna wipe out every short in the world. That's Elon Musk saying that.
Gretchen's asking, how is Lynn Partners still in business? Did law enforcement ignore Ham's information, Ham's claims?
Well, want to know something? I'm going to answer that by saying, no, they haven't, because Lynn Partners is changing their documents. Go look at the document on KNW and go look at this new document.
All right.
It's a very different document.
Different lawyer,
Right.
maybe.
Different lawyer. Their lawyer is Morgan Lewis Bacchius in this document, the investor. So they went
Who
to the
used
best
to be
lawyer
your
on the street.
attorney.
That's correct.
Hmm.
So I looked at the document, and I know there's probably some devils in the details but they put in there, we're going to exercise 130% higher. That doesn't tell you about their warrants. That doesn't tell you about other things that they've gotten in here. So one part of the transaction, they're telling you, we're going to hold on because we can't do anything unless it goes up 130% from where it is. So the stock's $2.30. So they're looking for this thing to go up 130% from $2.30. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the stock to go $4 or $5, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're telling you. But in the middle of that, what they're telling you is they want people to go out there and buy the stock. Then they're going to lay into it when people go out there and buy it. That's the devil in the details. I haven't figured it all out yet, but go look at the details on K&W where they have the right to convert at the lowest price, right? That 30-day average bullshit thing, right?
Yeah.
That toxic lending. This is a completely different document.
Somebody named Jackie Letitz called out costs at $2. Well, you did it last week at $4. That's pretty darn good. But,
All right, so Jackie Letitz called it out at $2.
I don't know when, but
Well, you know what? Let's go to the tape. Let's see what Jackie said. I'm going to go pick it out and see. Give me 1 second, and we can see it very easily. Because $2, the last time it was $2, but low. He may have called it out in May. It was down to 234, 240.
that's a pretty good call.
If he called it there, he called it a month ago, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago,
pretty
whatever, in
good.
April. It was in April. There you go. That's pretty easy. So
that's
congrats
pretty
to
good.
Jackie Letitz.
I'm going to answer this. You do not have to. Please don't. NR is asking with a nice puppy dog, did William and Ham receive any finger shares gifted from Finger Motion? There's lots of chatter about this on X. NR, I'm going to say your name quickly 5 times. NR, 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 NR. I hope you made
What's that?
$7 each time. And no, I have not received any shares. And you know what?
I'm going to tell you something that no one knows.
Yeah.
All right. And the SEC knows, and everybody knows. You ready?
Yeah.
I don't even have a brokerage account. How's that answer? NR.
Yeah. So there.
I don't even have a brokerage account, NR. So if I was compensated, it's not to me, that's for sure. And NR, the SEC knows all about us, NR. And they know more about Lynn Partners, and that's where the focus is. But if you want to focus on me and what I do for a living, good luck.
But that's the other thing in our, regardless of what people do in life, it's usually not for free. But I haven't received any shares, so I can say that to
So
you.
listen, let me just say something. I met these people a long time ago. I thought this was the greatest investment. I have my whole family involved in it, everyone I know involved in it for years. The stock has went up to 17, it's pulled back. People could trade it, they could do whatever they like to make a living. I believe this thing's going to the moon. Lynn Partners came into the thing. I don't know Lynn Partners from a hole in the wall. I'm against naked short selling. Once they stepped in, that's when I ramped it up. That's it. If you don't want me to talk about it, then don't listen to it. I can't. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, and
If you go back and look at it, I've been doing this for 24 years. 24 years. Go back and look. I worked with Pat Byrne. I never got anything from Pat Byrne. I worked with other companies. I tried to go out and help companies. I tried to do it.
Yeah.
I tried to help MULN. I tried to help GNS.
I think,
I tried.
yeah.
Listen, I'm not here to discuss that. Listen,
Yeah, let's
I'm not-
move on. And then I hope.
If you got a beef, you're upset, call the SPC up
Yeah. And then
and tell them to come.
we've said
investigate.
your
That's
name
it.
now 20 times, so you probably got $7 a time. That's how you get paid. So, just go on with life.
Listen, I'm here to break naked shorts. That's it. I don't know KOSS. I don't know GME. I don't know AMC. I don't know Wolf. I don't know any of these things.
You sound terrible.
I talk about stocks. What's that?
You sound terrible. That
I'm trying to get rid of this cough.
telomere,
And I'm here on Thursday night on a holiday trying to educate people. And all I talked about was KOS, AMC, DOJ, DJT, whatever this stupid name Lynn Partners in. I have nothing to do with all of them, but you're worried about how I'm making a living. Well, dummy, I was been very successful my whole life. And I'm here because I can't stand naked shorts. And if you can't tell by my posts every day, 24/7 on companies I don't even know, I stand up and fight for them because I know people are getting robbed. Now, people love to rob people. That's a different story. If you want to be those people, at least show your face and be a man and say, hey, man, I'm here to steal your money. Have some
I
balls.
took pictures of it and I can't show it quickly, but I'll try to find it. But in 10 days, not last November, the previous November through December, in 10 trading days, I watched the naked shorts sell 100 million shares of Finger down because of guys on Twitter helping them, down from 9 to $1. So 100 million shares times 5, they probably took, I don't know, 100 million, 200 million out of the market. That's what they're fighting to keep. So when you're trying to spread this doubt about people talking about the situation and trying to spread truth about the situation, you're protecting the criminals that take hundreds of millions of dollars out of the market by counterfeiting shares. Hey, which side do you want to be on? I know which side I want to be on.
Listen, it's not worth it.
It's not worth
Call
it.
the SEC, call the FBI. Listen, I think this guy has never seen a truck in front of the FBI, the SEC.
No.
If you're a criminal, do you think that we would go to the SEC and the FBI? The big mouth that's talking here,
Well,
he's
no.
not going to the police.
Look, I said it last time on the call. I got frustrated. I congratulate the shorts. I congratulate everybody, the criminals that join in. You guys have come up with the perfect crime. I congratulate you. I'm not going to fight you anymore in an angry way. The system allows you to do it. Good on you. But we're going to keep the pressure up to change the system. And it's going to come back on you at some point. But I'm not going to get angry anymore with your stupid reindeer games. I'm just not going to.
That's all they try. Listen, that's all they try to do. If they had the balls, tell them to go to the SEC and tell them to call us in. Knock yourself out. What more can I say? We were outside their building.
All right. So this guy was just asking because he saw it on Twitter. That's fine. But, you know, I don't know. I don't recognize your name. You could look the whole. Let's move on. If you want to bash, you're welcome to bash, but I don't have to engage. So see, I wouldn't want to be.
Listen, I post on Twitter bashing Hindenburg, bashing Andrew Left, bashing Capybara, bashing this, bashing that. What do they got to do with anything? I do all different companies, different stocks. I talked about Etsy when they talked about counterfeit shares in Etsy. I defended MULN. I went after all these companies. I don't have a position in any of them. So anyway, listen,
it's just, it doesn't, everybody you get advice from on Wall Street, every place you put money, everybody's out making money. So if you don't want to pay Wall Street, don't invest.
Listen, this is a tough game. I'm trying to teach you as rookies against vultures. You don't want to play? You want to play the game? Get used to getting ripped off, unless you understand what they do. And the reason they're mad is because I know what they do, and they don't like us telling you what they're doing. That's it. It's pretty easy.
Not Legal Advice wants to know, how do you get that hole in the middle of your haircut? No, he didn't say that. He says hi.
I know.
He'd be one to say it. He'd be one to say it.
That's his joke. He can have that joke. Hey, listen, I've been doing this 24 years. People, I'm not long for doing this much longer. I've started it. I believe that Donald Trump is going to end it. And I think people like Richard is helping everyone out in GTII. He's working with big shareholders to help expose, get rid of management. You can't ask for a better guy doing that. All right. People were bashing Richard before, for those who don't know, calling me that Richard's a short because he was negative on the stock. No, it's Richard telling the truth. is what got everybody to yell at him. And when I tell the truth, everyone yells at me because I'm exposing the criminals. That's it. I don't make corporate decisions. I can give advice to people, to shareholders that speak with management. Why not? Why can't I say it? I think I got pretty good knowledge of what's going on here. Anyway, we're going to stop with all that.
All right,
stuff.
yeah, let's
I'm
go.
gonna
You're
move it along.
here's
Move it
somebody
along.
asking for Ham's name on Twitter. Here's his name.
I
This
don't
is
know what
part
his
of his name. This is the part that's the handle part. It's Ham 59591. Ham 59591. That's in it. Ham 59591.
And I'm trying to figure a way to sign out of the other one on my computer, but I can't sign out so that I can sign in with the new one. I'll try to figure that out. I just don't know how to do it.
So you sent me something from Kristen Shaughnessy that says Elon Musk to Bill Gates and anyone betting against him. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has sent a warning to Bill Gates and the EV makers short sellers for holding a position against the company. Once Tesla fully solves autonomy and has Optimus in volume production, I guess that's their battery, anyone still holding a short position will be obliterated. Even Bill Gates, said Elon Musk on Twitter.
Well, that's Elon Musk. So everyone is pissed off. Just look at what they do in this country. Anyone who tries to build or do anything good, people bash it and try to knock it down. I don't know why. To me, Elon Musk is one of the greatest minds we've ever had in this country in a long time. Just look at the things he's doing. And they almost had him down and out in 2013 when the New York Times wrote the fake story about his batteries going on fire. And if Elon Musk didn't fight back, he would have been wiped out. 2013. So that's the fraud. It's going on. He talks about making short selling all the time and how the government doesn't do anything to protect him. They go after the short sellers are running free, can say whatever they like, and he's always under attack.
Right.
That's how you get rewarded in the United States. I don't know about you, but that to me has got to stop. Now, there's companies that do things wrong on the long side. I got it. But that's the SEC's job to do that. Short sellers posting this stuff. Chanos was a complete fraud. He dropped out of the game. This guy who was short GameStop, I forgot his name. He got blown out. The guy they all bailed out in the movie, whatever his name is, I forgot his name. These people, they should be back trading money. They lost billions of dollars. They all think they're the best until they get wiped out.
All right, here's a question, but Dominic, options, call options, 95% of them expire worthless. Anyway, Dominic's asking you for lottery money, garbage money. On July 19, the $3 strike for finger is 10 cents. The $4 strike is 5 cents. What are your thoughts, Ham?
I think that the company's going to have to announce the contract that they spoke about with William on that conference call. I think the company's going to have to give the details on that. And I can't imagine it going, we got a month to go. You're talking about the end of July, right? So yeah. I think it's worth a shot. Remember, they're not going to move until the stock starts moving up. So if you could buy them at a nickel or a dime, that's when you buy them. And remember, if you buy them let's say you buy them at a dime and the stock spikes up to 275 real quick or $3 on the news, you could sell half of them at 20, 30 cents. You get all your money for free and you let it go. This way your options never expire.
Ashburn, Virginia. Wow. I know where that is. I have friends out there. You mentioned Melvin Capital, right?
That was the name, right?
And he said, this guy says it's Gabriel Plotkin. Is that right?
Plotkin. Yeah, that was another guy, right? Yeah,
Something.
That's another guy, right? Yeah. I can't remember. Listen, everyone thinks these guys are the best in the world. All they are is using naked short selling to steal everybody's money. Because guess what? Not everyone's right all the time. Not Bill Gates, not what's his name, Kitty Cat. Nobody's right all the time. I think Wall Street's sending a message to Roaring Kitty. They're going to smack his ass all over the place. That's what it looks like to me. They're going to gang up on him and they kind of try to snuff him out. So unless he's doing something with the head of GameStop, I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, Mark is saying Teddy or G America, which I've never heard of, is the speculation that Ryan Cohen is trying to put together a conglomerate of companies like Berkshire. Well, I doubt anybody does it like Berkshire, but it's thought that companies like GME, Chewy, BBBY, KOSS, Lego, Sears are all going in, I guess.
It sounds like a big pile of garbage to me.
It does to me too. And whenever anyone says we're going to do it like Berkshire, that makes me think, no, you're not. You're just talking that way.
He should be buying Apple, Coca-Cola, IBM, not those. Listen, he got the gift of a I don't even know, the biggest gift ever. He should stop doing whatever he's doing. Just follow whatever Warren Buffett's buying, buy what he's doing, and that's it. That's it. I just follow what Nancy Pelosi does. Do what she does. So I don't know. It's not easy building a company. It costs a lot of money to hire people, healthcare, this. Think about, I told you what Jim Cramer said on TV, which I hate the guy. He said that it's going to cost them $1 billion just to get out of their long-term leases out of all those stores. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that was an interesting angle that he talked about. So if
they'll have $3 billion left.
I mean, that's a quick 25% haircut right away, right? Just to get to zero.
Yeah. So this poor guy, Apollyon81, got booted from Twitter today for making fun of a guy who was harassing you and Ace. Not fair, he says. Yeah, that's not fair.
That's this is what they do. They boot you off, and you got to keep fighting. I just keep fighting. I mean, it's just terrible.
Welcome to the free world.
And that's why we have these calls. But they can't help themselves. They want to call in. And they want us to be arrested for doing anything we're doing because they want us to silence us.
Let me see what your real name is on Twitter, because people are saying one person can't find it. I don't think she can find it. So let me see.
It's Gary Gensler, 59591. I'm abusing Gary Gensler. Is that it? I don't know if that's it.
Yeah, I'm looking because I liked you on Twitter, your new one, but I'm trying to find it. Yeah, it's Gary G. That's all he says is Gary G at ham 59591 shorts. I left off the shorts. I didn't see it before.
Gary Gensler. I'm making a site just dedicated to Gary Gensler.
Yeah, it's Gary G.
I find it amazing that Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, has said zero about foreign countries attacking banks. Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs get fined for naked short. Everyone. And he's not said one word to address it. Zero. There's not one word. He doesn't address it at all. And I just find it, I can't believe, and they sit there and brag how they protect military and this and that, which they do not.
Yeah. Okay.
And just look at the MMTLP people. It's just unbelievable.
This guy, when he's not in Ashburn, Virginia, hanging out, he's under Nancy Pelosi's desk listening for insider tips. I hope that's the only reason you would be under her desk. Somebody bought 20 million shares 2 days in a row. I guess you're talking about KOSS. Yeah, KOSS. That's a lot of stock. The
Again.
name of it is at ham 59591 shorts. At ham 59591 shorts. And the big title is Gary G, like Gary Gensler.
My Twitter handle is a dedication to Gary Gensler for just letting people get robbed and just looking the other way. It's
There it
just
is.
remarkable.
That's it. Thank you, Ramiro. Thank you. Oh, you're a good boy, Lucky. So what do you think's going to happen tomorrow in the market? Is it a chance to buy some of
Well,
these trades, or do you?
I'm going to give you my opinion.
Yeah,
Again, this is my opinion.
yeah.
I am not sure what's going to happen in KOSS, but it's 100%. I'm positive hedge funds are out there looking for stocks to squeeze. Will they land in our direction? I hope so. I think they will. All right. We've been out there telling the story for a long time. Everybody knows about finger motion. And I'm hoping they come our way so people can feel better about what they're doing and get that squeeze. Now, just think about this, William.
Yes.
Imagine buying 10,000 shares at $2, and the next day the stock squeezes to 18, and you make just $10 on it. You sell it at 12. You make $10.
Yeah.
You put up 20,000, and you walk away with 100,000 profit. I don't know about you, but that changes a lot of people's lives overnight. And that's what I've been talking about, is what I'm looking for. And these things happen all the time. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. It doesn't happen every day. But when they do happen, it changes your life. So, you can find stocks, I have people telling me Northwest Bio, it's going to get approval, it's curing people, That will change your life if all that is true. I agree with that. It's a 44-cent stock. Is it going to go anywhere? Who the hell knows where it's going to go? But that you have to find out, do all the information that you could possibly dig up. William was lucky enough that he got the CEO on, I think it was last Sunday, and the CEO described everything in detail, what he's doing. Did the CEO of KOS come on and tell everybody what happened this weekend? No. Did Ryan Cohen come out and tell you who bought the shares in GME? Nope. AMC? Nope. I think the CEO is doing a good job of fair disclosure, it's called, for those bozos that don't understand it. It's called fair disclosure, where he's telling everybody what's going on at the same time. He's telling us his blueprint of what how he's growing his company, and things that he couldn't say, he didn't say, right? And, for people that are bashing the company, the selling in this stock is not longs. This is manipulation. And you say, what, can you prove that? Yes, I can prove it, because I know how people trade stocks, and they just don't sell it at the market down. And when there's no trading in the stock and there's no volume in the stock, that means there is no selling. But then it picks up immediately because these guys start to wash trades. And remember, a wash trade is a fake trade that does one thing.
And it's illegal.
It's misinformation into the marketplace, meaning if a stock is traded 50,000 shares and these idiots are selling it back and forth, I sell it to William, William sells it to me, back and forth, back and forth. All of a sudden, we go from 50,000 shares trading. All of a sudden, there's 500,000 shares trading. And if you followed me on Twitter before I got the boot, I posted the time in sales. And it shows there's no trades, 200 shares, 1 share, 18 shares. Where's all the volume coming from?
So
Well, they're doing it in a dark pool. They're crossing it so we don't see it.
So tell me if you think this is going to help him keep power, or if it's going to accelerate the move to someone else. Apparently, Biden tells today, he took the microphone and he told a Black-owned Philly radio station that Biden, is, quote, proud to be the first Black woman to serve with a Black president.
What?
That's what, I'm reading it. That's what Biden said. He grabbed the mic and he started rambling on. And I don't think he's helping his case. I really don't.
I think he should continue to run. He should continue to run. And I have to tell you that anybody that supported this thing is a buffoon, because he's destroying our country. He's not in control of the country. People, if he was elected, he was supposed to be in control, not people that no one knows anything about are running this country. So whoever's doing it could be a mastermind and undermining the country. And this idiot is standing here as the front, doesn't know what he's doing. And for the people that want that to happen, those people should be the first people that get drafted when they start a war. Okay, let them go. Let the Democratic voters take their kids and go fight the wars. That's what should happen. Watch how fast they stop doing that.
So I have a good question here from Lewis Shotland. I have a probably a slightly different opinion than Ham's in the very short run, but I'll let him answer it because he's the expert. Can you compare the dynamics of a potential finger short squeeze to past short squeezes?
Yes, I can. I witnessed plenty of them, from Taser to Krispy Kreme to Beyond Meats to Peloton, you name it. I've seen them all. TLRY, I've seen them all. The difference between finger motion and those is that we have one short seller in here, and it's tied to Lynn Partners. Now, it could be offshore. I don't know what country these trades are originating from, but there's one short seller. There's not multiple short sellers. Short sellers break rank, just like longs do, just like investors do. I may want to hold, William wants to sell. You want to buy, everyone's got a different opinion. How are the short sellers in this stock, who shorted it down, still trying to push it lower? They're working in concert together? Absolutely not. And as you can see, they're not buying. They only keep selling and doing fake trades. So it's one person, and the real short is tied to that naked short, all right, because he's still short 2 million shares. He hasn't covered. He's short around $3, that guy. That's the 2 million shares. So we have one short with one real short, and those two guys are together. In the other names, it was multiple shorts. In GameStop, there's probably 1,000 people short the stock, 2,000 people short worldwide. You had, what's his name, Merlin Capital. He was a big short, and the other guys, other big players were big shorts, and they all got run over. But there was, I think about the small shorts. Guys short 2 million shares, million shares. Guys short options. There's all different ways to get short. They all broke at the different time, and they all turned and panicked and started covering at the same time. So you had multiple people running to buy it. In finger motion, it's one person. It's very hard for someone to jump on this sword and kill himself like a kamikaze. It's tough to kill yourself. Or the Harry Carry, they call it, excuse me. That's what you have here. We have one person, and they can't flinch. If they flinch, they're dead. That's what's going on here. We have one short versus many shorts in these other names, and all those names. There's not just one short in KOSS. There's probably 50 guys, 100 guys short that stock. Same thing in GameStop, hundreds, AMC, hundreds. They're all over the world. It's not just like two people. Lynn Partners is here because Lynn Partners had a toxic note with the company. The company paid them off, and they're trapped. That's what happens here. That's why it's here. In GTII, it's the same thing. It's the Kramers. There's nobody else there. Someone is carrying that position where they moved it around. The position that the DTC told us about, the SEC, they told us about it. Alpine's moving it. Kramers, they're all part of this thing. That's it. That's the people that are there. Now there could be some guy named, Pedro in Spain who's sitting on the short in GTII. They paid him, and when the police come and get him, he's going to say, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I
And
just
that's what
saw,
this guy-
you're going to see this headline yourself, but I just saw Dior and Armani are under investigation for made in Italy handbags produced by migrants.
Yeah, they said they spent $67 and they're selling them for $2,500.
So
saw that.
everything's fake in the world. It's all an illusion. all
It's
an
just, it's amazing that counterfeit goods, counterfeit, airbags, counterfeit airline parts, plane parts, everything is bad. You say counterfeit stock, and no one talks about it, like it's no big deal. And everybody knows about it.
All right, so David is asking, and it's goes with the previous question. Since this has taken longer than expected, Finger, does Ham still think if Finger spikes, we could possibly still get over $100? Do you still
Yes.
you used to feel that way?
I think that this is the key. The shorts are trying, this is what the shorts are trying to do. There's different ways for the shorts to cover.
Right.
One technique is what they're doing now. They're trying to attack and drive it down. And then the stock is going to turn and it's going to go up. Whether it goes up $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, I don't know. And you're going to see the story, and I posted it many times. They always put XYZ stock soars up $4 today. It always soars. It's always got that word. Like here it is. It's ripping it's going to the moon. They never write, hey, wait a second. The stock was 50. It's 5. It soared to 10, but it's still down 40. They never say that part because that headline makes investors think that they should trade the stock because that's all you're going to get out of it. You got the rally. That's what they want you to think. So investors in finger motion, the people that I know, we know that they're going to try this soon, but we're not going to fall for that because if you think about it, KOSS, we know nothing about KOSS, and I wouldn't buy that if you gave me the money for it. But I think if it was finger motion that went to 18 and I sold some at 18 and it came back to 12, I'd be buying it back because I know that this stock has a lot more room into it. I know how big the short and I know who the short is.
Well, that's
KOSS, I know nothing about it. Zero.
And there's people that say Ham's wrong. That's fine. Everybody has an opinion, but I can attest, and I've watched it with Ham, but Ham has the ability to see these patterns, read the trading. He shows it all the time. You can ask him at midday, what do you think the percentage short's going to be? And when I forgot the name of the guy that posts the short positions right now. Dozer. I'm having a Biden moment. When Dozer puts it, Ham's usually within 5% of that number. He's good at it, so I would listen.
Well, listen, I study it all day. The trading patterns are easy to see. I'm doing this a long time. And if I was trading and if I was running $50 million, I could know. I know when to step in and to start buying stocks. I know when to sell them. I know what to do. When they're running, we used to say when the ducks quack, feed them. So KOSS, if I was buying it below 6 and it started ripping to 10, 11, trust me, I would have been out by 12.
Right.
All right. I would have made, let's say I bought 2 million shares of the thing. I would have been out, made 5 points and see you later. That's it. It went to 18. People go, why'd you sell it? And I would sit there and say, hey, I made 5 points on 1 million shares. Take a walk. That's what I would say. I couldn't care less what you say. That's my business is to buy them when you don't want them, sell them what they do. KOSS, if you bought it when no one wanted to, like that guy you said before, $2, he was rewarded for waiting. That's what happens. There's nothing I could say. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I didn't write down any more questions. All right, so let me look what else people are asking. KYP is in it to win it with Finger. That's
So you
good.
got booted off with me, right?
And she got booted off because you guys both suck at pickleball. We can't prove that either one of you were any good because you haven't played together.
I put the photo up of me hitting the guy with the ball in his arms. You want to stand in front of that anytime.
Here's a question from Gretchen. Do the idiots, that's a good word, do the idiots need to put up collateral in order to wash trades?
I think they're crossing it, so they're just moving account to the other. All right. So I think that I'm not sure about what they're doing overseas. Obviously, someone is lending them money to stay alive because these positions are massive. They're not really adding much to the naked short with all the washing. You heard me say this many times on the call. I love to blame the naked shorts and say that, these big volume days of 700,000 shares and it's 50%. That's not true. It's 300, 400,000 shares of fake shares. So the volume is down below 300,000 on the day, and then it's 50 or 60%. So I'm first to blame naked shorts, but they're really not really piling on. So the naked short position is going up, but slowly. It's 50,000 a day, 60,000 a day. It's not hundreds of thousands a day because they're all fake trades. They're just going back and forth. It's basically at the end of the day, they're both flat. It's nothing. It's just moving the same stock back and forth.
Not legal advice.
To answer that question, I don't know if they are putting up margin money. I don't know what their deal is with their prime broker.
Right. Not legal advice. They could have 5 TCF of natural gas, but I'll talk about it after whenever Ham signs off, because he's going to be bored of that. But yes, it would be Nextbridge, not MMTLP. It would be Nextbridge.
I'm bored already.
I know
It's
he's
not
bored
my game.
already.
Listen, all I want to see is that these people, this thing stop trading. We know there's a massive short. Everyone knows. The SEC has the emails, the FINRA, they have the blue sheet investigation, and no one wants to talk about it. If you don't see that this whole thing is criminal, and the people posting, trying to get stocks to go down so they can cover, it's a whole network of criminals. The SEC needs to step up and shut down this thing now, or say something. All they need to come out and say, if we catch you naked short selling in the USA, you're going to jail. End the conversation. Watch how fast it changes.
Okay, so there's a couple of 3 questions on Finger typed quickly, but basically Ham has said a bunch of time that Finger is going to run quickly, and then he says, has something changed? I don't know what he means. When do I know how to take a profit? It's just confusing.
No, you how to take a profit.
Somebody else is asking. The tricky thing is to know when to start selling Finger. All right, go ahead.
So this is the most important thing. Let's say your average is $3. Right now you're underwater. Okay, the stock runs to 6. You own 1,000 shares. If you were to sell 100 shares at 6 and start recouping, you put up 3,000, you sold, you buy 1,000 shares at 3, the stock is 6. To sell 100 shares at 6, you get back 600, so only at risk $2,400. It goes to 8, you sell another 100, you get back another 800. So now you sold $1,400 worth of stock, you invested 3, you still got $1,600 worth of risk, and you got 800 shares now. It goes to 10. You could sell 200 shares, that's 400 altogether, or sell 300. You take all your money off the table, and you have 500 shares left to let it go. Then you could sell 115, 130, 150, and hold on to 200 and close your eyes, and hopefully it goes to the moon for you. You have your money off the table. You don't dump your whole position at one point. and you sort of average yourself out of the position. So as it goes, you sell a little all the time, taking your initial money off the table. That's the professional way to do it. Those numbers, you have to make them work for you any way that you feel possible. And you should always put a good till cancel order in, like tonight, because you never know when you're going to get KOSS. How would you like to be? We just discussed this. You paid 3 for 1,000 shares, and tomorrow finger motion goes 8, 9, 15, 20, and then all of a sudden it drops back to 10. You say, wait, I forgot to put my order in. If your order is out there, you always make the sale. If your order is not out there, you can't make the sale. So when it spikes up, you can make the sale. When it pulls back, whatever you sold, you can always buy back in and trade it then. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Don't stand around like the Statue of Liberty. You can put an order out to sell it. No one's going to bite you. You're allowed to do it.
Sorry, I had to let my dog out. So let me see what else is being asked.
The date.
Somebody said you're brilliant. I
yeah.
can't believe he's listening to the same person, but somebody said you're brilliant.
Listen, I've done the same thing, and I've traded, and we made a lot of money doing this stuff. I decided that in 2000, it's 2024, that I was going to fight naked shorts and expose it. I showed you signs of my friend who passed away holding up a sign, Wall Street Court counterfeiting. That's my friends. That's my sign that I paid for, and our group of people were standing with in Times Square in 2006. So if you think I'm not angry about what's going on here, go back and look at my sign. That's my friend who was there. Brain cancer, died. Another guy, heart attack, and died. And I'm watching Lynn Partners and the Kramers walk through like they're the kings and queens of England, just stealing money right in your face. They're putting out these documents, people that never read these things, KNW and this and whatever this new one is, MGIC, whatever it is. I mean, they put them out and they just basically, the company's thrilled, we got money, they're loan sharks and they're shorting the stock against it, and they signed the documents, we won't short your stock. Guess what? The guy next to them is doing it for them. It's very easy to do. That's what they do. And the CEOs want to build their company and believe that these guys are lending them the money. They should only look at their track record, which I put up on Twitter. Go look at other stocks that these guys did before you take their money. But CEOs listen to their lawyers. Listen, Morgan Lewis Bacchus, who's their lawyer, had no idea what naked short selling was when I taught them. Zero. And had a senior partner there.
All right. Ernest Green is asking you, do you think Finger will squeeze?
Yes.
He says, if yes, then we win. Oh, no, when? If yes, when, I guess he's trying to say.
I told you that's like, that's the hardest part. Listen, these guys, okay, here it is. This is your answer. I'll give it to you and you figure it out. Real shorts want stocks to go higher. So if I was the naked short and Finger, or consider a real short, I would let you guys all come buying the stock and push it to 8, 9, 15, 20. I would actually turn around if I was the naked short right now. And tomorrow I would open the stock at 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep pushing it higher. Everyone on the phone will be cheering, our stock is going. And then when you go to sell some, they pull the plug and let it drop real fast. Or if anyone comes in to buy it, they're selling more at $5, $6, or $7, right? Why wouldn't you sell it if you want to be a short? Sell it higher, right? They don't let it go higher. And you can see the pattern yourself. I'm not designing the pattern. They keep pushing it lower because they cannot let it go higher because there's margin complications if the stock goes up. They may be getting a call because they're being told you got to buy some of this stock in. and they're trying to push it down and then turn around to buy it. And when they turn around and try to run up and scoop it up, they're going to run into people who paid $2 and say, "Oh my God, it's 2.5. I bought 10,000 to 2. Let me sell it to make $5,000." And that happens. People trade it. But that's exactly what they want you to do. They want people to sell into the rallies. That's what they're looking to do. That's the trading pattern that I see them developing right now.
Matt is asking, Mr. Matt is asking, this new stock KOSS, KOSS, do you think it will squeeze him? Let me be clear. I don't, it might, but I think it's crazy to buy it now. Anyway,
I wouldn't buy that with your money. If you gave me the money, I wouldn't buy it. It's too difficult. I know nothing about it. It's squeezed out of the blue. The only reason I even looked at it is because it trades with GME and AMC. I said, instead of buying those names, buy this one.
But he was saying it at $4. It's a lot different than buying it at 18. 18 is you're just guaranteed. In my opinion, you might be right. Maybe it goes to 26, but at some point they'll drop it 50% in one day and take your money.
It's just that it's to me, it's in play. What are they going to do? I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's a tough shot. If you want to play tomorrow morning, go buy 100 shares and close your eyes. Maybe it goes to the moon or maybe it drops. Don't buy. Go buy one share if you want to play and get some action. There you go. Buy one share. It's a tough one to make. Listen, I believe more in DJT only because I believe Donald Trump is going to end the misery here.
Well, and DJT is down. So yes, there's $30 risk, of course, but it's down. So that's the time maybe to buy some. I don't know. Problem is you got to wait, and people don't like waiting, but you got to wait or not.
I believe
it could happen right away.
I believe that DJT, because of Devin Nunes and Donald Trump, is going to explode. I don't think Donald Trump is going to allow this great opportunity. He owns 71 million shares of stock. You don't think he's reading the headlines on GameStop that this guy made $4 billion? You don't think he wants to be part of that for free? And that's why Devin Nunes is yapping. And go read the headlines. Truth Social fights short sellers. Truth Social going after naked shorts. It's all right there. Devin Nunes calling for hearings. Devin Nunes wants a blue sheet. He's doing more. Yeah, these aren't regular people. These are the most powerful people in our country.
So
you don't think the SEC is fainting because if they get the call from these guys, they're dead?
I don't think they're worried.
I think they are.
I think BlackRock and Goldman Sachs owns them all. Anyway, Megan asks a good question. When you buy the dip, sell the rip, do you buy as it's going up off local low? How do you know it will not go lower?
The only buy is when it's ugly. I'm a believer in buying them when it's ugly. For example, when Finger Motion, I was posting the other day before I got the boot, at 210, they were doing all the wash trades. I told you that. Wash, wash, wash. Then I said to my buddies, I didn't get a chance to post it because I got the boot. I said, they're going to try to break 210 and attack it because they keep thinking, people think that was the support level that broke. And that's when you seen the flush down to 193 or 190. And then it turns, people stepped in and bought it, and it closed at 207. You could see it turning right there. I told you, they're running out of room. Where are they going? The company's fundamentals are strong enough for a $5 stock. They're selling it at $2. They're just trapping themselves. All they're trying to do is con you into selling. That's my opinion. 100%, that's what they're trying to do.
Or getting you to relief sell. When it gets back to your break even, you just get out.
That's exactly right. They're trying to turn people against the stock, saying, this guy Ham, he's a jerk off. What are you following him for? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, and that's what the bashers do, by the way, going back to that other question. They just try to raise any kind of doubt so you don't listen to Ham. Then you're left listening to the bashers. Have any of those bashers been around for 24 years? Of course, you could ask Why is it taking Ham 24 years? You could build
Look how- this was
the
big
Empire
crime.
State Building in 1 year.
I told you it was the biggest crime in U.S. history. I posted it 1,000 times. Did I not?
I know.
I didn't take on a little fight here. I took on the biggest of them all.
Mr. Matt, the sudden interest and will it go higher? Look, last week, I don't know if you were listening, but Ham 2 days pointed out, maybe 3 days, pointed out if you want to do a trade, there's an interesting one here, KOS, $4. It looks like the hedge funds are going to get ready to run it. So he's just telling you it worked, and he's not telling you to buy it. It's up to you if you think it'll go higher. I think it's a crap risk. I think the risk reward is way too balanced in the favor of the hedge funds. The reward's not worth the risk because you could lose $14 very quickly. Anyway, do what you want to do. You seem like a professional.
Listen, it's in a dangerous spot now, very dangerous spot. I told you, I think the hedge funds that got it going all dumped it into the run at the close.
Oh, this is interesting. Hobbs is saying KOSS is not new. It's been a meme stock for 3 years. So that's interesting. So it just had a little bit of a run, just like AMC, GME had to wait forever to get a run. It's too late to build a position, in my opinion.
Listen, I've been following this nonsense for a while.
Yeah.
And KOSS, how did it become this hot, trendy name? No one even knows what the hell they do. I mean, that's, AMC, GameStop, everyone knows. KOS, it's the same group of hedge funds pushing the same 3 stocks. There's no question about that. Because what happened in 2024, how did this stock become alive again? For what reason? Who's pushing it? I don't even know who's pushing it. Warren Kitty isn't pushing it. Who's pushing it? I don't know who's pushing it. Who's pushing it?
It'll come out.
There must be some paid promoter. Go after him.
Well,
I'm just telling you that I think it's dangerous. That's all. You make your own decision. I'm not in the business of playing danger. I don't play. I would never.
I think KOSS. I wish I had bought 1,000 shares last week when Ham mentioned it. I'd be selling it now. I didn't. I don't have the money. But just remember, next time Ham notices something, maybe you put a little toward it. But I am not saying, just Mr. Matt, I want you to be clear. I am not recommending buying KOSS. Maybe it'll go up, maybe it won't. It is risk, risk, risk. Is that a Beach Boys song? It's a risk, risk, risk. Take the baby away. Anyway, how high do you think DJT will go with 700 million shares short?
I think it could be $200-300 easy. Easy. Listen, if Devin Nunes and President Trump step out and really hammer this thing with the SEC, you'll see a panic because they don't want people to buy it in front of them trying to cover. That's the dangerous part for the shorts. If they have longs going to buy it, that only makes it 100 times worse for them. Do you follow me, William?
Yeah, I do.
They want to be able to cover this while it's quiet. That's why they try to knock it down. Anything else?
Not really. This guy's pointing out that KOSS was interesting 3 years ago. It did nothing, and you probably wait another 3 years.
Listen, again,
possible.
It made headsets. That's all I knew about it. I spoke about it when it went. I said this company made headsets, and it went to 125. I think it bounced up 3 times to 125 to be exact, and then it finally died. Again, I couldn't tell you. I know nothing about it. All I know is that I followed the other ones, and it looked like it was ready to go. That's it.
Yeah, it was a great trade. I think it's over with. So it's just looking backwards now. But next time, I hope I have a couple of grand to put in one of Ham's ideas. But right now,
Wall Street,
it already happened.
Wall Street's about ideas.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. If you're going to sit here and we're going to watch one stock, we're all going to die doing one thing. So
Yeah.
you got to sit there. I'm cool with watching one stock. I'm okay with that.
So
I don't want to be. I decided I was not going to trade. I wanted to invest in one company, and that's what I did. That's where I wanted to be behind. And that's what I'm doing. I can sit here and trade. I don't want to do it. I like to leave in the daytime. I take my son to school. I do things with my family. Before, as a trader, you sit there and you're chained to your desk. I don't want to do it. I did that for a long time. I do not want to do it. The money is not worth it. And that's the decision that I made. Sit there, I used to get up in the morning at 6, study charts, do this, do that, real companies. How to understand all this stuff. I don't want to do that anymore. But all my training, I don't need to study things anymore. I can see the numbers myself. I can tell you when they're going to go. Every one of my brothers, my cousins, we all understand the stock market. We all know when things are going to go. We can see it. So when we all talk to each other, we all can talk and say, okay, that stock looks like it's ready to go. Maybe I talked to William about the metal stocks before. I talked about this. I talked about gold, silver, this. We talked about copper, about how much copper wire goes into an electric car. You know, the price of copper has got to keep going up. You know, these things like that. We talk about a lot of different things. But we're not Fidelity Management. We can't just buy 6 zillion stocks a day. So you try to find something that's starting to turn. If you bought 1,000 shares and you made 25 cents, just think about that. 25 cents. You make $250. If you do it 3 times a week or 4 times a week, it's 1,000 a week. It's 4,000 a month. That could pay for your mortgage, pay for anything, 4,000 a month. And let's just make it 25 cents on 1,000 shares. You don't need to buy 1,000 shares of stock and make $65 each time. If you want to get rich in this game, you got to find a stock that you believe in, build a position, good, bad, or indifferent. If it pulls back a little bit, you buy a little bit more, you buy a little bit more, and one day maybe you get a KOSS. Imagine having 50,000 shares at $4 and it runs 10 points. You just made $500,000. That's what I want to do. I don't want to sit here and trade all day to make $1,000. I don't want to do that because it takes hours, and I'm not willing to commit that time anymore. And that's why some days you see me disappear in the morning. I go do things that I never did before. Especially now, it's nice out. You know, drive over to the beach. I go on a friend's boat. I just do things. And, you know, if you want to be chained to your desk, learn how to trade then. At least I'm giving you ideas on how to trade. I'm actually going to teach a young guy I play pickleball with. He's 25 years old, and he wants to learn how to trade. So I said, listen, I'll give you 2 hours a day. Listen to what I say, understand it. I'm going to teach him how to trade. That's it. And that's the game. All right, it's 8:28. I'm going to go watch the Dragons and whatever the hell it's called, the Game of Thrones show. And I missed the last week's game and last week's show. I'm going to watch that. Also, I heard to watch Hitchcock. It was a great show. I'm not sure what that's on, maybe Apple. And Slow Horses on Apple is supposed to be very good. Slow Horses is about stupid what's the British Secret Service called? M13, something like that. William?
M19, M7, 16,
Something like that. It's
MI6,
supposed to be about
MI6, I think.
Stupid Secret Service men from Britain, and Gary Holman is the guy who played blank. He's the guy from what was the gentleman that saved the UK? Yes, Germans. What was his name?
Churchill?
Churchill, right? He played Churchill.
That's
That
pretty
guy.
blank.
I went blank. What can I say? I come blank. Anyway, I'm going to start coughing again.
I think you need to go check for Alzheimer's.
Anyway, I'm going to start coughing. Anyway, listen,
All
have a
right.
good night.
All
And I'll
right.
speak to you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
So
Call
I-
ended.
I'm sure not legal advice might be gone, but Nextbridge could have 5 TCF of natural gas. That's completely possible. They could have, just in those Louisiana wells, they could, I don't know, if all 3 worked, they could have 1 or 2 TCF. But that's a big, I mean, the odds of all 3 working is probably 10% times 10% times 10%. It's probably, it's wildcat. Problem with, if it's gas in Texas, natural gas in Texas, last time I heard about it, which is a couple of months ago, that it's trading like 35 cents an MCF. So it's not really making much money. But what they could do is either set up a mining operation for coins, or they could just become put some jet engines out there. That's what utilities use, these big engines, and be the marginal supply of energy if it's hot or cold. Anyway, they could become a utility. Ace said DJT bought some media company. Oh, that's interesting. Ace is pretty good. What do we think of PSNY? Public Schools New York? I don't know anything about it. Wickedham's, his new name is right here. And I just got an email, and I'm going to take prerogative from my stepmother. It's very nice. It's a book from a best-selling author, David E. Sanger, just came out with a new book called New Cold Wars, China's Rise, Russia's Invasion, and America's Struggle to Defend the West. But on page, it doesn't say what page number. She sent a page, and it says, there's no reference, so I just have to start with what I have. It says, it was a realignment long in the making. The last time the United States had paid sustained attention to the Solomon Islands was in 1942, when American soldiers were sent into the main island of Guadalcanal to roll back the Japanese Empire in some of the most desperate and deadly fighting in the Pacific War. Guadalcanal loomed large in the American consciousness, not only because it claimed the lives of at least 5,000 Americans and 21,000 Japanese, but because of the battle's most famous survivor, Navy Lieutenant John F. Kennedy, whose PT-109 boat collided with a Japanese destroyer and sank. 18 years later, the legend of Kennedy and his role in the rescuing of his crew became a major part of his political narrative, as his fellow Navy survivors campaigned with him. For millions of Americans, that was the last time they gave the Solomon Islands a thought. Quote, "We simply left," unquote, recalled Bill Farrand, the career Foreign Service officer who was serving simultaneously as the island hopping ambassador to the Solomons Papua New Guinea, and Vanuatu in the early 1900s. Quote, we left the consulate, we left the airstrip, we left anything else we had built and destroyed, unquote. It was the wrong move, he argued at length in an oral history. Quote, I believe that small nations like the three to which I was ambassador, all of them democracies, struggling, weak, but struggling democracies need support, unquote, he said. People had a bad habit of thinking that, quote, little governments, unquote, could, quote, be ignored, unquote. It was a noble diplomatic ideal, but it didn't carry much weight in Washington. A year after the 50th anniversary commemoration of the Battle of Guadalcanal, a days-long celebration in which American veterans returned to the beaches and told stories of a desperate battle, the State Department closed the embassy on the Solomons, hoping to save, as Farrand recounted, $387,000 a year. Over the decades, the United States constantly made promises to reopen the embassy, to send in the Peace Corps, to invest in a deep water port. But there was no follow through. And then the page ends. I just got that. That was my dad. That was my dad. It's pretty neat. He told me a story, speaking of that 50th anniversary. He lobbied the White House for a more elaborate celebration. And I don't remember all the details, but he was on a stage with the, I don't know, maybe the president of Australia. Do they have a president? And New Zealand, and anyway, the people from the Solomon Islands, and anyway, he was there as ambassador. But something, I wish I had written it down. I'll have to ask my brother. Something that one of the participants said showed disrespect to the United States. And Dad said, Pamela, let's go. And he got up from the stage and walked off, because he would tell me stories about those battles. We sent soldiers in with equipment from World War I, and they would die in these jungles. We didn't have the equipment, and he took the sacrifice of American soldiers very seriously, and he didn't think it was fair that the United States was, as you guys call it, dissed. Anyway, let's move on. Spider Claude, MMTLP will not, I don't know what you mean by solved. MMTLP will not be solved. The only way that you can solve it is to move your shares of MMTLP to NextBridge. I think it's clear that Wall Street has very high-powered lobbyists. They have professors, they have lawyers, they have journalists, and they have a bunch of people on Twitter to play down what you call solved. I don't think there's a solution for MMTLP. We're working for it. I continue to work for it. I have decided to just congratulate the shorts. I'm very proud of them. They're doing a great job. The criminals, bravo. Good job, boys. Good job. I'm not going to get upset about it anymore, but we can't fool ourselves. You talk about MMTLP getting solved. One way's through the legal system. That'll take years. I would guess it's going to be a decade. If that's the only process, it'll be a decade. The other way is through Congress. I don't think you'll get anywhere with Congress. Zero. Nowhere with Congress. Now, I do think it's worth keeping trying because you never know when there's going to be a moment that Congress gets on stage and can't speak and everyone realizes they have Alzheimer's. There can be a breakthrough moment, but I wouldn't count on it being solved, as you put it. Regulators, the SEC just came out and sued the CEOs of Torchlight and MMAT. They didn't come out and sue the people that come on here and tell you not just to hang on to a counterfeit share. You just hang on to your chit. You know, whatever's in storage will keep. Just hang on to your chit. It'll get solved. The hotel tells you you're entitled to get your bags. Just leave them there. It's insane. But Wall Street pays for people on Twitter to get you to do nothing. If you want a solution, Spider, to your situation of MMTLP, move your shares to the transfer agent. Move them, your fake shares, non-existent shares of MMTLP, move them to real shares of NextBridge. That's the solution. That's the solution. Is MMAT going to run? I see no connection, zero connection. There used to be an argument that if MMTLP squeezed, well, it didn't squeeze. They stopped trading. That people would take their profits and put it in MMAT. I think MMAT did a disastrous financing. All you have to do is look at the stock chart. Disastrous financing, dilutive. And I think Wall Street, with the help of the SEC just shook down MMAT for $1 million. I think Wall Street, the attorneys, the shorts are trying to steal their technology and their patents for free. I don't think MMAT is ever going to squeeze. It's my opinion. You asked for my thoughts. When NextBridge is worth actual money, will MMAT run? I don't know if MMAT will last that long because MMAT needs capital. And these bastards are determined to seller box that stock. Now they are. I'm not conversant in the numbers, so maybe on MMAT, defer your seeking of advice to someone that really has studied it. But I'd maybe buy a little bit of MMTLP. It would be part of sprinkling of these plays that I might invest in. But I really don't. I think they've got MMAT under complete control. The board took money from a front for the criminals. They did not listen to advice warning them not to do it. I think they'll do it again when they need money. The thing is, Spider, when companies need capital, the criminals according because they can destroy the stock. NextBridge, I think, is worth actual money right now. I don't know what absurd use of the English language you have there. Perhaps what you mean is when NextBridge is liquid. I think by the time NextBridge is liquid, you will have forgotten about MMAT. I think NextBridge could take 18 months, 2 years, 3 years to get liquid. I wouldn't count on it being liquid. What you could see in NextBridge is a distribution that's more than the price you paid or equal to the price you paid for your shares. And you still have the stock. Why is Finger down? Because your friends counterfeit the shares. That's why. They keep selling. They have an endless ability to. But I think partly Martin Shen talked about that he needed to raise capital. So the modus operandi, and I give great reports, they're wonderful. All their friends on Twitter, they're wonderful. They're doing God's work in the planet. They're just amazing people. Congratulations. But what they do, as soon as they hear a company needs capital, they drive the stock price down. They drive the stock price down so that when the CEO comes to the bank, Lynn Partners or Power Up Lending or Yorkville Advisors or Aubrey Capital or Shadron or Ionic, or, you know, just the list is endless. They drive the stock price with counterfeit shares. They coordinate. And when they do the same thing to the vote, Gary Gensler will be Secretary of the Treasury. Why? Because the government is run by Goldman Sachs and BlackRock. That's it. You can have the illusion that your vote matters. You can have the illusion that CNN is telling the truth. You can have the illusion that the Washington Post hasn't been corrupted by the CIA and Jeff Bezos. You can have those illusions all you want. But the fact is, the criminals in this scheme win. They always win. And so what they do, they sell the stock down with counterfeit shares. And then when the CEO goes, because they need money urgently to build a production plant, to lock in a patent, to get supplies, guarantee a contract, they have to come to market at below the suppressed price. And then as soon as that's done, the criminals keep selling stock that doesn't exist into existence until it's below $1, and they do a reverse split. Then they can take 95% of the money out of the prime broker's hands, and it's not paying taxes. It goes offshore. It shows up in the profits of BlackRock somewhere, or Goldman Sachs, or Citadel, and they get lauded. Your retirement funds go in it, and it's a big circle jerk. Money goes to Ann Wagner. Money goes to Gary Gensler. Money goes to Adina Friedman. Money goes to Carlyle Group. And as long as we all look the other way, who's to know it's illegal? But the effect is to concentrate wealth in a handful of men. Handful of men. Well, I hope you're not right. If other people follow your advice, calls, 95% of calls expire worthless. So I like the idea of buying calls on Finger, but I'd be very careful. I don't know if you could lose everything. You can lose everything. Hobbs, in November or October, I was going to buy a brand new computer. I had a bunch of money saved up, but I had to pay my rent. And I haven't been able to buy a new computer. I'm using the state-of-the-art biggest Mac that I could buy in approximately 2010, the best one. Now all it does is overheat. I can't afford to buy a computer that doesn't overheat. So the glitching is because my computer overheats. I pray that at some point soon I'll be able to get a modern computer so that I can do a better job of these lives. I can edit pieces, but right now all I have is the ability to turn this on, try not to overload it. You can't open the Mac without breaking the glass. So I'm sure there's a lot of dust in there. Maybe I could take it in and someone would clean it for me. I just don't know where to go to get that done. But that's why it's glitching. It's overheating. And that's just life. I'm sorry about it. What do you think the solution is? My solution would be to make a Department of U.S. Financial Markets and make it a secretarial position on the level of the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, the Education Department, etc. Have a secretary of financial markets sitting at the cabinet meetings. And then if you work there, so bring in the SEC, FINRA, and all the other organizations, so-called SROs, bring them all in-house and actually get rid of Bill Clinton's idea that derivatives don't need to be regulated. Have the government make a rule book, implement it, and then if you have a career there, it's a career. You cannot, in your 20s or 30s, spin out, go work at Gibson Dunn or Goldman Sachs and sell your Rolodex in this big fraud. That's my global solution. The best solution would be to get rid of Reg Show, eliminate Reg Show. Reg Show was designed to give the banksters time to get out of this short mess. They have a market maker exemption that they need to eliminate. Just eliminate that market. It's not going to happen though. Wall Street will not fix this. The government will not fix this. I'm just telling you. It's trillions of dollars and they will not fix it. It just won't be fixed. It's how our market is run now. It is the marriage of banks, media, and journalism to the government. That in other times was called fascism. It was called socialism. It was called communism. It was called Nazism. But now it's called democracy. And if you're in the middle of the road, you're far right wing, and you're the Nazi. We're really in dangerous times, and I think that there will be no solution until our market collapses. That makes no sense, Spider Claude. You bought calls because you don't have money now? I'm going to stop answering your questions. Geek Squad, that's a good idea. There is a Best Buy. There is a Best Buy, and they owe me money. That's a good idea. I'm not talking to you anymore. Maybe, but no, I really don't. I think Congress will write just enough letters so that if something does happen, they can be on the side of history. but otherwise they're not going to do it. They're not going to do anything. This is a lot like, and you're going to get mad at me, it's a lot like the right-wing part of Israel. I'm just saying the right-wingers. Whenever there's a distraction on the world stage, they go gobble up some more of the settlements. And I don't care. I'm not trying to get into a political question with you, but the fact is they go do things while no one's looking. It's the same thing with the counterfeiters. While there's distractions, they just press their bet. Look at Jeff Easton. He does company after company. It's not going to stop. It's just not going to stop. And until CEOs stop taking these notes, it's not going to stop. So, all right, my computer is overheating. I was going to talk about some other things, but I think I'll skip it. And I'll wish everybody a happy 4th of July. And I'm sorry my computer's overheating. I really am. Sometimes you just have to persevere, endeavor to persevere. All right, Hobbs, thank you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you have a happy 4th of July. And remember, it's a free country. Let's make sure it's a free country. Free for everybody. Everybody is free. I studied government. The role is everyone is free except when their freedom impinges on somebody else's freedom. So that's the role of government, to just sort out those issues. But otherwise, everyone is free. Everyone is free. Equal opportunity, freedom, and we have the right to speak and say what we think. So let's try to think of that on the 4th of July. So anyway, cheers. Peace to everybody.